Welcome to this explainer. Today we're looking at a fascinating micro case study in monkey group social dynamics, and it comes to us from a really unexpected source. Literally just a single, seemingly simple social media update from a zoo. It's actually amazing how much depth you can find in just a few sentences when you stop and really analyze them. So we're going to explore the story of one very unique monkey, look at how primate communities form, and see what happens when the traditional rules of the troop are just unexpectedly rewritten. Get comfortable, and let's look at primate social behavior in a completely new light. Okay, let's dive into this post from the Ichikawa City Zoo's official account. It's titled Musings from the Saruyama Zookeeper, and it reads, "Punch was hand-raised, but the monkeys in the group treat him as a normal monkey. That's why he can get close to all sorts of monkeys. Lately, we've been wanting to observe him up close too. In short, #NicePunch." Now, this single paragraph might seem super brief, but the zookeeper has actually captured an entire social ecosystem in just a handful of words. Meet Punch. He's a resident of the Ichikawa City Zoo. We're going to read between the lines of this brief August 2nd update to uncover what is honestly a profound narrative about community, belonging, and how primates navigate social boundaries. See, we aren't just looking at this as some cute story about a zoo animal, we're examining it as a window into real-time primate dynamics. By looking really closely at the exact language the keepers chose, we can unpack how a rigid society bends for an unusual member. Let's start right at the beginning. Punch was hand-raised. Now, in monkey group dynamics, this is a massive hurdle. It immediately establishes an outsider narrative. Being hand-raised means there was direct human intervention in his upbringing. He missed out on the maternal grooming, the early social cues, the subtle troop behaviors that infant monkeys naturally absorb. In terms of social dynamics, an individual raised by humans usually lacks the ingrained behaviors that the rest of the group just naturally shares. So Punch essentially started his life operating on a totally different wavelength from his peers. Yet, right on the heels of that outsider setup, we get this remarkable revelation. The monkeys in the group treat him as a normal monkey. In a world where primate group dynamics are often strictly defined by aggressive posturing, and newcomers are usually easily marginalized, this is a true biological surprise. There's no way around it. It's wild. Despite his hand-raised, human-influenced background, the traditional monkey society has fully and unequivocally accepted him. They don't see the human intervention at all. They just see Punch. And this right here is the incredible social paradox at the heart of Punch's life. His origin of human intervention stands in stark contrast to his current reality of total group acceptance. It really challenges our assumptions about how rigid animal societies actually are. It proves that, at least within this specific community at the Ichikawa City Zoo, origin does not dictate destiny. The gap between an artificial upbringing and natural social integration has literally been completely bridged by the group's willingness to simply let Punch be Punch. Now, what's really interesting about this part is the direct consequence of that acceptance. The keeper notes he can get close to all sorts of monkeys. In typical monkey troops, you have strict hierarchies, right? There are grooming circles, alpha-dominant figures, subordinates who keep their distance just to avoid conflict. Not everyone can just casually approach everyone else. But Punch's unique status has somehow granted him a universal hall pass. He's navigating this highly complex social web with total ease, completely bypassing the usual territorial boundaries of the troop. Because getting close in this context actually represents a complete breakdown of traditional hierarchical barriers. This is basically Punch's unique social superpower. The troop isn't just putting up with him, he is fully integrated into the fabric of the community, to the point where he can just mingle across different subsets of the group. It's a level of social fluidity that is incredibly rare in primate structures, and it speaks volumes about both Punch's adaptability and the community's surprisingly open social dynamics. And this brings us to a really fascinating shift in the narrative. The quote says, "Lately, we've been wanting to observe him up close too." So the focus turns back to the human keepers. Punch's integration is so exceptionally fascinating that it's drawing the intense professional curiosity of the very people who raised him. The keepers, who observe this troop's behavior every single day, are completely captivated by how well he's doing. He's become this primate social phenomenon right in their own backyard, and they realize they need to study his success just as closely as they study the natural-born group members. But the keepers aren't just detached biologists recording data points. As the update continues, we see them transform into an active cheering section. They're emotionally invested in Punch's journey. Think about it. After all, they raised him by hand, introduced him to a potentially intimidating primate hierarchy, and now they're watching him absolutely thrive. This introduces a deeply charming human element to the story. It shows that the dynamic isn't just about the monkeys interacting with each other, but also the genuine connection between the animals and their caretakers. Just look at the hashtags rounding out the post. Hashtag nice punch, hashtag go for it punch, hashtag you're doing great punch, and of course the identifiers for the zoo itself. And this brilliantly illustrates that these aren't just filing tags for a social media database. They are words of immense pride and encouragement. The pure energy and warmth radiating from these tags show us that the keepers are quite literally rooting for him. They're celebrating his social victories right alongside him, which is a beautiful testament to the empathy that drives these caretakers.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought. What does Punch's acceptance teach us about social integration and community? We've mapped out a journey from a single social media post, watching an outsider shaped by entirely different circumstances, step into a complex, established society and find absolute acceptance. If a hand-raised outsider can break down established primate hierarchies and find profound belonging, what does that say about the flexibility of animal communities? It's a powerful reminder of what true inclusion looks like, and definitely something to think about long after this explainer ends. Thank you so much for joining me, and keep questioning the fascinating dynamics of the world around you.